Welcome to another episode of Boardsi Leadership Talks, where we dive deep with today's most impactful leaders to explore how they are reshaping industries and driving transformational change. I'm your host, Martin Rowinski, CEO of Boardsi, and today we welcome an extraordinary guest, Karla Nelson, a powerhouse entrepreneur, risk strategist, and creator of the Who Do method. Karla has trained leaders at over 25 Fortune 100 companies and worked with thousands of mid-market organizations and startups. From business finance to insurance risk management, she doesn't just offer solutions, she reshapes how teams think, act, and win together. Today, we'll uncover how her frameworks drive real business growth, reduce inefficiencies, and why innovation without execution is a missed opportunity. Welcome to the show, Karla.
Yeah, that was literally. I'm thinking, who is this person? Because there's a lot of, it's so cool to like listen to it, and you're like, well, yeah, but the blood, sweat, and tears part just doesn't ever make it into the bio.
We're going to focus on the good stuff.
Yeah.
But you can bring up the bad stuff.
Oh, well, it's just and when I listen to you say that, it's like so much of business literally is about, right, risk management. How can you make sure that, and with your team too.
Yep.
And I love that about what you do as far as having that outsourced group, your board, to give you feedback so that you can put the right people in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing to drive innovation, to figure out what we're going to do, to get that buy-in on 2 points. One, ideation, what are we going to do? And then implementation, how are we going to get it done, right? Same 4 core natures of work, completely different process. And I think that is something really cool that you guys bring to the table that, entrepreneurs, I think they're sometimes so busy that they don't listen. Right? I know you're laughing, but it's literally like, I'm not joking. I just had a client. Okay, we've raised like almost $8 million. And I was like, this is what you should do. This is how you should do it. I'm their chief risk officer. And I'm like, you're missing the point here. You're totally going off the hinge here, which is easy for me because I'm not like in that space. And I was like, when's the last time you had your board meeting? Oh, yeah. You had one all last year. Really? And you're spending $8 million of other people's money? Like, really?
Not a good move.
Like, but that, and what's so interesting is, and I love when people share their dirty laundry with me because like, I'm like, congratulations, you're normal. Like, that's everybody. Like, don't hide it, like put it out there and say, how can we then take a look at that? And like, what can we do with that? Because that's where it starts. I always laugh and I grab my phone here and I always put it in the middle of the table. And I look at whoever I'm sitting across the table from and I'm like, our relationship, we're good. This is good. But we have to talk about this. And when we talk about this isn't up for grabs.
Yeah.
And I think that's what is so critical and so important, that people are just like wanting to, seem like big and do big things and ta-da. And it's like, really, at the end of the day, we're dealing with crap every day, up, down, left, and right. Like, that's what we do. But the relationship that happens in the midst of that you are like not going to put that up for grabs. That is when you have, in my opinion, like the team that can do anything, because we're good.
Yeah.
That we have to deal with that, and we're going to talk about that, and we're going to fix that. And I think, that's what I think a lot of teams miss, and the process piece.
Well,
you could just
when you're busy in it, when you're digging in and you're dealing with that shit, Or to have an outside perspective.
Yeah.
That's where you should be using your board advisors, and not once a year.
Yes. What's so funny about this is I get sucked into these like amazing businesses, being the risk manager and being the finance person, because I'm always like, okay, like we have to figure it out. Like, is this a business worth financing? Right. And then also you have to insure it. Right. Both perspectives are almost the same thing, but you have to, for me personally and my team, I just want to make sure I'm investing in things that are worth investing in, right? But people are the best thing to invest in. I'm collecting all the good ones. I think by the end of my life, I might have like all the good ones.
Well, you are one heck of a networker. So I'm going to ask this question before I even get into the real questions. Where does Karla come from? Like your journey to get to where you're at right now. What were you like as a teenager, or maybe even younger?
Okay. So I'm actually going to go someplace I've never gone, Martin.
All right, awesome.
Okay.
Good.
So, I actually was completely abandoned by my mom when I was, I think, 8 years old with the next door neighbor. My mom left and ran away with my dad's best friend.
Whoa.
My dad was in the middle of the ocean. I don't know where he was, on a nuclear sub. And I've had to fight my way back from complete abandonment for my whole life. And you know, it's so kind of crazy because I never wanted to say anything negative about, I actually love my bonus dad. I love my mom. I love my dad. I have great relationships with these people, and having to fight through that is actually what made me get to a point where I can connect with almost anyone at any time, because I see people. So I didn't realize it, but and then when I was like, I don't know, maybe 8th, 9th grade, no, maybe a little bit younger than that, 7th grade, I negotiated with my dad. And I was like, hey, you know, Lee press-on nails, all the kids loved them. And I was like, hey, I can get that like wholesale. And then I could ask my dad to give me the money, and then I'll pay him back with interest. And then like I was doing literally spreadsheets from the time I was just a kid, because I could say I'm creating value and I'm bringing something to somebody that somebody wants.
Absolutely.
And so there's a part that like I think for entrepreneurship on two different sides. Number one is just being good and fighting the good fight and treating people great, but then creating that value that somebody wants. And like it's the intersection of those two things that makes you really attractive. Like people want to be around you. Why? Because you care.
Yeah.
Because you're, you know, and even when I think about my parents, is like, they're kind of dumpster fires, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I love them to death. I'm not giving them up, but at the same time, who knows? Like, but you never know. And I don't think I've shared with this. Did you know that my first husband passed away when I was 33?
I did not.
So here's the funny thing. So many people think like I was born with a silver spoon. I'm like, bro, like we are so far away from this. It's insane. Yeah. And so I actually had somebody ask me like, oh, what's your pedigree? And I was like, because you know that's what happens all the time, especially the whole freaking stupid Fortune 100 bull crap. Like you're always trying to prove yourself. And I was like, do you know what? I was like, I was abandoned by my mom with the next door neighbors. I fought my way back and started my first company at 20. I quadrupled my bottom line after I hired my first business coach. I lost my husband when I had a 5-week-old and a 2.5-year-old. And I still ran 3 companies for the better part of a year from a hospital.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah. And that to me is so like, you're going to show up and you're going to do it and you're going to make things happen. And that is so much more important, just making that decision versus even doing it. Cause like everybody looks at the doing and the crossing the, finish line. And there's so much more. It's that is, I love your picture.
There's
the lion. Yeah. Well, cause the elephant's the largest animal, right? It's not the smartest. The lion's the one that shows up and says, I made my mindset that I am going to show up. I'm going to do this. And that to me is like the biggest part. But having the advisory piece of that, all you have to do is listen and be a good student.
Yeah.
Like I didn't ever realize why. Okay. So I'm going to give a shout out to my confidant, Linus Terasius. Okay. So I hired his company from London. They came to San Francisco. And I was like this 22-year-old kid. And I was like, crap, I'm like a total good technician. Like I can finance and do like all the things that need to be done. But now all of a sudden, Martin, I had to lead a team. And I'm 20 years old. And I'm terrified and they don't even know. Like I'm paying all the
bills. But you didn't let them see the fear.
Hell no. Yeah. And when I realized that, you could have somebody tell you what to do, and then all you have to do is like do what they tell you to do. They looked at me like, you're such a star student. I'm like, I'm just being coachable. Like I'm just doing what you said that I needed to do. And I think that is like such a huge part of entrepreneurship. It's not about the new idea. I will take a mediocre idea any day of the week that gets across the finish line than the best idea ever that never sees the light of day. And the way we do that is figuring out how to put the right people in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. The law of diffusion of innovation is the largest body of research we actually have about how we adopt new ideas. And most people have seen Simon Sinek start with why, and that's what his whole golden circle is proved off of. But the thing that he forgets is the who and the when. So you can go ahead and say, oh yeah, start with why, but no, who's your person to go to? And when do you get to them in the part of the process that needs to be done?
So you don't take excuses lightly for somebody not getting something done.
Yeah, I don't at all. And as soon as somebody starts pointing the fingers at somebody else, I'm like, no, there's 3 points. I literally am like, no, you own it.
Yeah.
You get dirty. You figure it out. If you don't know, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's code. I don't care if it's that your people are feeling terrible. I don't care if it's the financing aspect. I don't care if it's a tax aspect. Literally, you cannot blame somebody else for your existence.
Yeah.
You have to show up.
Own it.
And you will, and when you do that, your confidence level goes so through the roof that I know I can show up and I don't care if it is a business. I don't care if it's a piece of real estate. I don't care if it's an apartment. I'll figure it out. And when you get to that point that you have that confidence, but you know how you do it is you dig into your network, right?
Yeah.
Like we had this conversation before we had this conversation.
Yeah. We had a conversation 7 years ago.
Yes, we did 7 years ago. And I remembered you. You made that big of an impression on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just happened to be in town. So
yeah,
that's how I found myself here.
So 7 years ago, I told you about the dream, the Boardsi dream. You thought it was a great idea.
I did.
And here we are, totally evolved. And here you are in Vegas, in my studio. I wasn't even in Vegas back then.
You weren't in Vegas, you're right. Oh my gosh, you were in California. So was I.
Long.
I mean, I'm going to be there. I was just there, but yeah, seriously. Yeah.
So tell me about the who-do method. I know it's been used by Amazon, Disney, Deloitte. Can you walk us through what it is and why it's so effective? I've been waiting to ask you this. Sorry.
Oh, no. You have to cut me off because I just... Yeah, you can change. No, okay. So this method literally, okay. So I found the original IP probably 15 years ago. No, it was a little less than that, maybe like 13 or so years ago. And one of the things I was so frustrated about is working with mid-market companies that were privately held. So of course, the nephew's the CEO, the aunt's the controller, the niece or nephew answers the phone, blah, 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 right? Like it's privately held. This is just natural, right? You're normal. And you got all this stuff that comes along with that. And I would show up. And of course, I was trained. Like everybody goes, how do you know business so well? I'm like, I would love to say I'm that brilliant. No, I'm a good effing student. Okay. So I hired a company. They taught me how. I became a partner of that company. And I knew the 150 things that everybody needed to do within their business. But the challenge was I couldn't do it for them. My job was to get them to adopt what it was that they needed to do, like almost so that they could get out of their own way, right? And so the Hoodoo method and team dimensions, it identifies how to put the right people in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. Because God was really, really smart and he has a sense of humor because we need you all. We just need you at different times. And the truth of the matter is when you look at all four core natures of work, we have probably at least I can name off 5 negative terms for each thing that people are brilliant at. But we don't hold them in their brilliance. We hold them in their smallness. So like you think about the law of diffusion of innovations, okay? The first thing is a shaker. So a shaker is the earliest of adopters, okay? I'll just tell you the negative terms we give to them. Squirrel. Yeah, right? Your head's always in the clouds. You're such a dreamer. In the military, I've had the opportunity in my team to train a lot of different special ops groups. They call them the chief idea fairy. How terrible, right? Like, and they're the earliest of adopters, right? And they're thinkers. So they're in their head. And then you've got, and so that's 35% of the population that instead of going, well, come on, give me all your ideas. Like, I want to hear this. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear, like, keep on going, right? No, we kind of crap all over them and be like, wow, you're such a, got your head in the clouds. That's where they should belong, right? And then you've got the next movers, 15% of the population that are doers, not thinkers. This is me. I literally am the most intense mover on the entire team dimensions.
But you're a thinker too.
Because I'm a shaker. I'm a mover. How did you know that? See, I am a mover shaker. Like I totally go back into that space and connect, right? And so movers are 15% of the population, right? They're not the earliest of adopters. But movers can identify the best ideas, set of ideas, prioritize those ideas, and coordinate the entire team that needs to happen. And they don't have the dog in the fight. Like shakers say no to a new idea if it's not their own idea. Movers don't care, right? And then you look at provers, 25% of the population, later adopters, and they're thinkers as well. And I'll tell you all the negative words we have for provers, which is, you're such a Eeyore. Oh, you're such a Debbie Downer. We have freaking books dealing with these people, which is crazy because like we look at them and like poo-poo them because they poke all the holes into everything. And I'm like, that's what you should do 80% of the time before you're even making a move. And yet 25% of the population, later adopters, and we do not allow them. Like we should give them the microphone. Please tell me all the shit that's going to go wrong before we take action. Right?
Yeah.
But what typically happens is you see the shakers and the movers. That's why we love that. Movers, shakers of the world. Yeah, but guess what? If you don't have the person that's going to poo-poo it and you don't have the last nature of work, the makers. These are the people that eat checklists for breakfast, and not the checklist that like they will do the same mundane thing day in and day out. And they're the ones who really scale businesses. And so you have to have, again, got to have a sense of humor. We need you all. We need you at different times. And then the process associated with ideation, what are we going to do? Implementation, how are we going to get it done? Same for carnages of work, completely different process.
This is where advisory boards are amazing because you can bring all those levels in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
absolutely.
After you get everything that they give you, you go in and dig and then go back.
And go in and dig and go back.
So true. So you've also said, and you're one hell of a networker. And knowing now your childhood, I totally get it. It's amazing. But you've said, really?
It's the first time I've actually shared that.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it's not what I do. Only because I would never want to ever make somebody feel like less than, especially my parents. But like, it did define me. It did define the point when I just made the decision. Like, I remember saying, guess what? When I'm 18, none of this crap's going to matter anymore. I am going to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it. But it was the sadness that actually created my commitment to being like, I can't tell you, Martin, I was like, when I turn 18, I'm opening the floodgates. It was in my mind so many years before I ever had the opportunity to actually act on it. Like, I had talked myself into the fact that I am going to be successful no matter what. I mean, and it's still like a dirty, like, I mean, you're going to have to get yourself into the mud. It's not going to feel good. Yeah. Like, everybody wants to see the outcome, but nobody wants to like go through the freaking mud. You have to go through the mud. You have to like hold on to this thing and be like, I am going here. This is where I'm going. And come hell or high water, I'm going to make this happen. And then your brain changes when you think that way. Like, your brain changes. Like, you've already seen it. You can see it and it's already done. Like, and then you have to live it out. And it's easier said than done, but.
Yeah. And that's what I like to refer to moments like you had. The 5-second moment, right? Your mom leaves you with your neighbors, and you and your resilience is established right there in that 5-second moment. And you can't wait to be 18 and have the freedom to go and build.
Mm-hmm.
And you did.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome. But back to my question.
Okay.
You're not avoiding it.
I know.
You've said relationships are everything. How do we build a relationship capital that moves businesses forward? I need to know this.
You know this. You can do it. Because like, literally, we had a 30-minute conversation. We connected, and we've been connected for how long? Like,
7 years.
Like, when you are interested, like, to a visceral level that you care so much about another human being, something happens there that they're willing to open and share something. And so, like, that was our moment. Like, we had that moment where you were like, I have this idea. And I was like, this is a great idea. Like, the world needs to hear this. And I didn't say it because I was trying to kiss your booty. I said it because I really taught it. Right.
Yeah.
And so a relationship happens now, even 7 years, and we're going to like pick up right where we left off.
Yeah.
Even from high school, I can tell you, I just was in Houston, and my best friend from high school, oh my gosh, he's amazing. And he happened to be flying into Houston, and I had one of our investment properties that it was the weirdest thing. We were raising $5 million for a company. We were like, I had a investment property that just happened to the 2 years were coming up, and then I was showing up and I was like, oh my gosh, is there going to be somebody here or not? Because we had just like served the, hey, it's time to get out. Not that they had done anything wrong. It was just like, are there going to be people there or not? And it was just this weird like convergence of all these things. And I remember when he told me, hey, I'm going to be in Houston, I was like, oh my gosh, my best friend from high school that I haven't seen in like 10 years. And then like, we go out to dinner and he said to me, he's like, you know what, Karla? He's like, you've never met a stranger. It's never heard it that way. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I've never met a stranger. Like, and I think that is just such a beautiful way of like encapsulating the fact that you just care so much that people feel it.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's powerful.
He's my best friend. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's so
for him to put it there, because I remember our very first conversation, and literally you made me feel like you've known me since high school. You didn't, but that's what it felt like. So yeah,
care.
It's very amazing.
Care. You can't, and you can't. I don't think you can fake that. You really do have to care, and then people feel it, and then they want to be close. They want to share their deepest, darkest secrets, because honestly, 95% of business is just bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, it's dealing with the stuff. It's dealing with the ugliness. But we have to be able, Martin, to point it out. We have to be able to call it out if we're able to fix the problem. And most people, me included, I'm the worst, by the way. I'm always the pot on the kettle black. But you have to identify the problem in order to solve the problem. And with relationships, that's easy, I think, because as soon as people know that you, from a visceral level, want the best for them, now all of a sudden we can talk about it. Yeah. Because we're good.
Yeah.
Like, we're 100%. This is not on the table. That is what we need to deal with.
Yeah.
And as soon as you can get to that point where you are so connected with somebody that they know you have their back, that then you can work together to solve whatever it is. It doesn't even matter what it is.
Yeah. No, you're right. Speaking of solving, companies out there that are trying to sell, why do you think only 20 to 30% of businesses successfully sell?
The first thing is they literally don't look at their enterprise value and what goes into it. That's number one. And understanding that the most important part of all of that is having a logical way forward. That, oh, here we go. Now I'm going to the thinker side, Martin. Like we're on the feel side, right? I'm like literally going to the number side. You have to have a very logical way of how you're going to defend your standpoint of what value you have, the valuation of the company, and what that means. Okay, so think about this. LinkedIn sold for what? 36 billion?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, to Microsoft. Yeah. Do you know they never turned a profit? 11 years.
Not surprised. Facebook was in the same boat. Just kept raising funds.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, you know what was valuable? Yeah. Data, relationships, all that. So you have to be so clear on that. And then have a logical standpoint behind it. And I think what happens is like, oh, we have to, okay, so there's 4 areas of I don't like on the 4 areas thing, but no, we do this thing, it's called a clarity chart. So there's 4 core areas. In context gives meaning to content. Okay. So the 4 core areas of every business: blue, tomorrow's money. So that's like client-based management, succession planning, right? If you were going to sell, acquisition, right? Everything that is really important, but not urgent, right? So it completely gets abandoned in most businesses, even though it's the most valuable thing you can spend your time on, right? Then you've got the green area, today's money. So these are all the things we do to generate money today. So marketing, training, anything that has to do with sales or advertising or blah, blah, blah. today's money. Then you've got the cost areas. So now you're like legal, compliance, tax, all these things that cause all the things that you have to have in order to generate green, money, right? Yeah. And then you have the last piece, which is the culture area of the business, which, by the way, is the lifeblood. Most people, and culture is not something that you can't say, oh, it's the, potluck on Friday. Like, no, culture is all those things you do in those three areas that makes us feel like we're headed towards this thing or this dream or this, what we're like accomplishing together. So culture just, you can't like determine it. It's the things that you do, right? So when you think about value in a business, most business owners just go, oh, I need to have more green than red. And I'm happy or sad. That didn't feel good, did it?
No.
Because it's missing those two things. And I think when you're looking at your valuation and you're looking at how am I going to create something that I can exit, you have to think of that when you start. It's you know what I'm saying? Just like I know you're tracking with me because that's exactly our conversation we had 7 years ago. I know I hear I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
But I think that's the biggest thing is like understanding what that is. And like, what's that quote? You aim for nothing, you'll hit it with amazing accuracy.
Yeah.
It's like you have to aim for that. If you want a $25 million exit, a $50 million, $100, I don't care what it is. All you have to do is work that crap backward. Like work it backwards and go, this is what I want. This is how I'm going to create all these different pieces to make that happen. And I think what happens is people just get so into the moment of like where they're at without having the advisory piece, without having somebody say, you know what, I had $100 million exit. You might want to sit down and talk to that person. They might know something that you don't know. And then just being real in that space and being like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, could you help me? And then be coachable and doing what there's so many people that have come before us that we could my dad used to say this to me all the time. He was like, and out of all the kids, he was like, you know what? You're the only kid that like didn't have to experience something to do what I told you to do. So like, he always said, don't take on debt. I never did. He said, like, don't, he used to always say, don't ever, you're going to love this. Don't ever do anything that you wouldn't want to see in the front page of the newspaper. Right? Like, isn't that sweet? Let us chat. But I just
see people need that advice by the way.
But I always just their advice. And I think that is something like there's people that have come before us that have done this before us. Like it's not rocket science. It's hard work. There's a difference.
No, 100%. That's like, actually, I'm thinking about that advice. That's funny. Don't do anything you don't want on the front.
It's nothing great. I will never forget where I was on it. And I read that. Oh, my dad said that to me. I was like, that is actually really good advice. Right?
Awesome. All right. I'm wrapping up. You want to say anything else?
I'm just super excited to be here. And like, this is a testament to like connecting with somebody.
Yes.
Really like knowing that what you had going on was really awesome. And then watching you excel and then being able to share it again here with you. Like time and space is such an interesting thing, right?
Yeah.
And
we've grown so much since we talked. I mean, I originally told you it was just going to be a simple platform. And here we are doing education, branding, haven't changed our pricing. People still, don't get it why we charge as a recruiter and they don't get it that we're not a recruiter.
Yeah.
We're a preparation with recruitment for board positions and advisors to help companies.
Yes.
But we prepare you. You can start early.
Yes.
Ready for when it comes your way. And
although we do need to like definitely talk about team dimensions and a couple other things maybe that we could
100%.
I'd love to. Whatever I could do to help and support. I love the idea. And I think, just being open to have somebody being your advisor. Like if there's one thing in my entire life that has helped me be successful is opening myself up to listening to what somebody else had to say without question, without judgment. And that everyone needs that. Like every business. I don't care if you're a solopreneur or if you're running a $10 billion company. I really don't care, to be quite honest with you, because like I'm gonna connect with like the person at the same time. The foundational pieces are exactly the same, and I love what you guys do. And I'm super excited to be here. Like literally, I was so giddy this morning. I was like a little kid in a candy store going, "Oh my God, I get to go!" So
awesome. Love that. Awesome, Karla. Your insights today have been both practical and truly inspiring, especially with your story. Thank you. From the border to the startup grind, serious startup grind. Your frameworks show us that business success isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter with the right people and with clarity. For our audiences, whether you're scaling a company or planning your next chapter or selling, Karla's methods are the masterclass in turning complexity into clarity. Thank you for joining us on Boardsi Leadership Talks. And until next time, keep leading boldly. Thank you, Karla.
Martin, this was just, thank you. I appreciate you so much. And your big heart and your dent on the universe.
Thank you for tuning in to Leadership Talks. Don't forget to subscribe for more insightful conversations with industry leaders. Your support means a lot to us.